Welcome to the Nerds Cantos.
Dude, we're talking about dog shit today, guys. We're talking about absolute trash, okay?
That's a
I'm
bit of an
kidding. I'm
overreaction, but
kidding. I'm kidding, everybody. We're talking about the
like, hey,
most middling book of the last 2 years, okay? Oh, God. Ultimate Spider-Man, everybody. Ultimate Spider-Man 2024.
sure we're pissing off one of the two viewers right now, but
Listen,
let us talk.
I've seen online, there's a lot of people. I've seen a lot, mostly on the internet. You see people who are kind of, they either love it or they hate it, right? And I've kind of seen all camps. I've seen the people who absolutely love it, they think it's the best book ever made. I've seen people who like absolutely hate it, they think it's the worst book ever made. And then I've seen people who I think agree with all of us, where we're like, wow, this is really kind of mid, guys. But this will complete our little 4-part Ultimate Spider-Man epic. I know we never actually talked about the Miles Ultimate Spider-Man, and maybe we'll do that in the future, but for now, the Ultimate Spider-Man quadrilogy is will be complete after this video.
It will. All right.
Yeah. Dude, where were you when they announced Ultimate Spider-Man 2024?
Oh,
I remember where I was.
Where were you,
In
Stu?
my room.
Yeah. So was I.
I remember we both collectively freaked out about it because, listen, it looked peak. All the like preview covers they did looked really good with all the different variations of Peter's suit that he wears.
Yeah.
I remember a couple months. I think it was like a month or two later. They released like the first few panels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a month or two later?
I mean, yeah, it would have been. It would. Yeah, I think it was like a month or so after they released like, because previews are always like the first 3 pages. I think 3 or 4 pages. So they would have showed that first look at like him and his family, and he's got the beard, and we were freaking out, Stewie. Because we discussed it in the Ultimate Spider-Man video, but Nolan was not reading comics when 2024 started. But Stewie and I were tweaking about how crazy it is to finally get Ultimate Spider-Man back. I mean, come on, What a beautiful time to be a Spider-Man fan, because everything else sucks.
It really was. It really was.
So cool.
We're going rabid. You especially were going rabid because I didn't know, because I didn't read
Invasion.
Invasion beforehand. So you knew Peter didn't have his spider at the start. Well, he did. He does get at the start of the book, but he doesn't have the start.
Not when he's a teenager.
Like,
the Maker takes it. Yeah. I know, yeah, because I was full theory. We'd sit in Discord calls and be like, okay, so this has gotta happen, and this has gotta happen. And then like in Invasion, he's with Liz Allen, who literally never fucking comes up in this book at all. Oh, so I don't know. I'm already tweaking. I gotta pull back. Hold on, give me a second.
You haven't gone to the bad stuff.
Give me a second. But he's with Liz Allen.
She's with Liz Allen.
Yeah, and in Ultimate Invasion, at the end of Ultimate Invasion, when the Maker, like the spider's about to bite Peter, and the Maker grabs him and goes, "Whoa. You were that was about to bite you. I saved you." He's with Liz Allen. And I'm like, not that they're dating, but he's like at the science event with Liz Allen.
That's what I thought.
No. He's at the science event with her. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. They're friends. Like, maybe we'll see her. Like, how is Peter's life different? And it's very different because his parents are alive until around that time. Thinking maybe the Maker might have fucking killed him, which is kind of funny. But then, so he gets raised by Uncle Ben and Aunt May when he's 15. And then obviously there's the Ultimate Universe one-shot where the Maker's Council bombs New York and fucking kills Aunt May. So it's like, holy shit, we're looking at a crazy different universe here. I was really theory crafting. And then the first issue hit, and I still actually I just reread it. Stewie also reread it, but I reread the entire book now that issue 24 came out. And I have to say, I still think that first issue is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I have no problems with that first issue.
No, it's great. Like the whole plot with Ben.
Dude,
Ben and Jameson, where Jameson first comes on screen, screaming for Parker, and it's revealed it's Ben, not Peter.
Such a
And you get
fun.
Peter's introduction to his family.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's great. You get the memorial scene with
more with Matthew Murdock, who
yeah,
also
Priest and
never
Matthew Murdock.
fucking
Never
comes
shows up,
back.
dude.
And Ultimate Daredevil is in fact a fourth wall breaking
Yeah, he's
cosmic
like a fucking
character.
alien.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't, but I'm also we're never gonna see him again.
Oh no.
I will mention full spoilers, and then also we're probably gonna spoil every single thing about the Ultimate Universe in general, because fuck this stupid fucking universe, dude. Um, the anger, I can feel it. It's rising in me. But no, the ending where Peter's such an interesting character in this first issue, because the whole time during the issue he already has the spider. He hasn't got bit by it, but he was given it by Tony, and so the whole first issue he's like dealing with this idea of like he knows that something is missing within his life, and he like needs to find it, but he also doesn't want to like disrupt what could be considered the perfect life that he's currently living, and so he's like, I don't know, and then Ben and MJ are like, no, actually, you go, wake up and go get him, Tiger, and then you get that final, the final panel of him standing on the rooftop, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever read in my entire life. It's awesome. Harry Osborn's pretty cool in it. He's just kind of there. I don't know. He goes on that rant about how they like took things from us, and he's like freaking out, and then he bombs the Kingpin's car.
Yeah, he does firebomb his car at the end of the issue,
which is very funny.
We don't know it yet.
No, it's just the Green Goblin. You don't know he's Harry, but I mean, come on. People, I remember when the book was coming out. It's Sue, you might have been there. People were like, what if it's Gwen Stacy who's the Green Goblin? And or what if it's Mary Jane? And I'm like, you guys are tweaking about fucking nothing, okay? Like, it's obviously Harry Osborn. No, but those, in general, after that, I think those first 6 issues, so up to that first Kingpin fight, I have zero problems. I do think the monthly... The Shocker, you get Bullseye, the dinner issue between like Mary Jane and Peter, Gwen and Harry, I think is fun. Harry hits him with great power. There must also come great responsibility, but he kind of says it sort of sinisterly, and you're like, oh, that's not good. There's also, you meet Doc Ock at this point, who works for Harry and is torturing a fucking Bullseye. Very fun stuff is happening here. Okay, this book is great. I don't love the monthly time skips. I do think immediately you can tell it's not going to work, like at all. Because I think that's my biggest criticism with this book is these stupid fucking monthly time skips. But I guess my criticism with the entire universe, actually, I suppose, because the entire universe does it.
No,
but...
it's bad. Like you said, the first 6 issues, it kind of makes sense because they're keeping the pace. Jesus Christ, I have hiccups. Holy shit. Terrible timing.
Lock in.
I'm trying. But they have like the pacing faster for these 6 issues. Like you said, we meet Bullseye, Shocker, and Harry gets his ass kicked by Bullseye, and Peter has to end up saving him. And that slowly begins their build up on their dynamic that they kind of rush over. I'll be honest.
It's pretty rough.
A little bit.
It's pretty rough. I actually, my favorite part about the book until the end.
We get the dinner scene, like you said, and he's a bit better there. We get a lot more of his motivations. Him and Gwen, Jesus Christ, these hiccups are gonna kill me. Terrible fucking time.
Fucking be better. We're terrible at this. Be better.
I've been holding my breath for like the past minute.
Yeah, listen. Talking. The month. I'll take over here. The monthly time skips just we're skipping a lot of stuff because in like the dinner issue, so issue 4, MJ mentions MJ mentions to Peter, she's like, you've talked a lot about this Harry guy. Like you guys have become close friends pretty fast, and you just not going to see any of that. And I still think the writing is, I guess the writing by Jonathan Hickman, art by Marco Cicchetto, and sometimes David Messina. Messina does the more like talky issues. Both artists I think are fine. Cicchetto is obviously the guy. But I think Messina is good. But I don't know. I think the writing is like it's never badly written. I'm just like I feel like I'm just
It's just
missing
the
things.
pacing's too slow for the.
It's slow, and then you're missing
Yeah.
stuff. I do actually really like this dinner issue, specifically because in the reread, obviously this is easier to catch, but Gwen and MJ go to the bathroom and kind of have like a girls' talk, and then talk about like funding J. Jonah Jameson and Ben Parker's The Paper, which is cool. But then Peter and Harry are talking, and they have this conversation where like Harry is mad that Peter hasn't told MJ, and Peter's like, "Did you tell Gwen?" And Harry's like, "Oh yeah, I told her immediately." And I think this conversation's fun on a reread because the roles are like revert. Like you on the first read, you think Harry and Peter are the same, and then Gwen and MJ are like filling the same roles. But on a reread, it's like the opposite. Like Peter and Gwen are the same. Like Gwen has the crazy. She's fucking Mysterio, and she like doesn't tell Harry everything because like she's protecting it. Like she's doing the same thing Peter's doing to Mary Jane, and I think that's kind of fun because you can only really catch that on a reread. That's the only thing you can vibe with if you already know the fact that Gwen is Mysterio. Which you don't learn till like issue 15 or something.
Yeah, she's on the council.
Issue 16 or something. Okay, we can talk about it. We'll talk about it when we get to him. But I really like that. I like Peter's family in this. Like May is she's fun. She like is kind of scared of Spider-Man at first, and when she learns it's Peter, she's like, oh, okay, actually, let's like. She helps him come up with the suit. I don't think Richard really does anything in these first 6 issues, but that's he's like a nerd. And he kind of like doesn't like the superhero thing. Like he kind of mentions to his dad it's pretty dangerous and he probably shouldn't be doing it. And then Mary Jane obviously gives him the name Spider-Man, which is a beautiful last page at the end of the issue
really
6,
good.
where it's like, here we go, we got it. Spider-Man is here. It's only peak coming in the future. It's so much so that I think it was either issue 5 or issue 6, but in between, I think it might have been in between 5 and 6. I got a tattoo. I got this Spider-Man logo on my arm. Okay, now I don't regret that because I was gonna get a Spider-Man tattoo anyways, and I actually really like this symbol. I just regret that the book went to shit. Okay, I just regret that now. I'm like, oh damn, I'm never gonna see this Peter Parker again because they torched the fucking universe for some reason. Except in Ultimate Endgame, I guess I get to see him there, but I don't really want to see him there, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I can.
Ultimate Endgame.
Thank you, Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah, thank you.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. What happens after that? So after they fight Kingpin, basically. We'll do what we did for the
Kingpin
original.
was in issue 6.
What's the Cravens? Is that stuff right after? Or?
Well, that's like 13 and 14 because they fight Kingpin, who has like cybernetic tattoo enhancement thingies, which I think are neat. It's a way to make him super strong. Their fight's fun. He actually does beat the shit out of Harry and Peter, which is kind of crazy. And then the issue after that, like the next little arc is kind of. It's like Harry and Peter are getting better as superheroes, and then Kingpin assembles. He assembles the Sinister Six, but they never once team up. Most of them are traitors.
No. He also has an army of bullseyes.
He's given an army of bullseyes, which is just sure, man. Because he works for Captain Britain, technically, because Captain Britain runs the American section of the Makers Council, and then Kingpin runs New York for him. But what am I thinking?
They do meet Tony. I remember that. Tony gives them the rundown because he's the main guy getting all the heroes together in this universe. So he gave Peter his thing, and he meets Harry, and Harry has beef with Tony because Harry Osborn, what the fuck did I say? Norman Osborn got fucked over, kind of, in a way, because they bought the Stark thing, and Norman exploded because of it, and everyone blames Stark as a terrorist organization because of it.
which is fun. That's an Ultimates thing. That they deal with that in the Ultimates book. But yeah. So there's that little training issue where they fight each other, and then they meet Tony Stark, and like you just mentioned, and Tony mentions like the list because the Maker has a list. And he's like, Peter's at the top of it, so it's like Peter's like the number one threat to the Maker, and then Harry's like, where am I? And Tony goes, dude, I don't know who the fuck you are. So that happens.
Completely BM. And he just leaves
it's pretty
afterwards.
bad. It's pretty bad. Doc Ock is there because he's just chilling in the background.
Yeah, he's like the tech guy.
He works for Harry.
He helps Harry make his goblin suit, and he helps Peter make his spider, like, not symbiote better.
Yeah, well, they put in this. So this is where you get the AIs. So Harry gets an AI of his dad, and then Peter gets an AI of himself, which you think is like eventually gonna be Venom or something. And I guess technically he is Venom, but not in the way you think. He just actually is a complete chill. AI Peter is just like a chill dude this entire book.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. Not
So
because it's AI Peter, just because they didn't commit to doing Venom, in my opinion. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I
later,
guess we'll get to.
obviously.
But so I like that issue. So that's issue 8. I think issue 7 is the one where the Sinister Six are assembled, which it consists of Black Cat, but not Felicia, her dad, Walter. I think, pretty sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's Walter in the main
been a week.
universe.
Next time he gets cooked.
Well, we'll get to that. So there's Black Cat. There's Mysterio, who has like a whole thing where he's like, they're like, hey, are you shorter than the last time? And then in the next panel, he like grows. So like clearly some stuff's going on with it. Immediately there's kind of a mystery with Mysterio. Mole Man, which is like, all right, I guess we ran out of Spider-Man villains. I don't really mind. It's fine. Mr. Negative, and then Craven, which is neat. I think all of the designs are great. Like when I remember they dropped the cover for this, Stewie. We were freaking out. We were like, "Oh fuck, dude! It's the Sinister Six, man!" They never do anything again.
No.
We mentioned that literally, because I think issue 9 or 10 is like a Ben Parker and a J. Jonah Jameson issue where they like are trying to invent. They're basically occasionally they'll have an issue where they're just like investigating Kingpin and writing about how he's being run by this crazy cabal that actually runs the entire government. And by government, I mean the entire world, so they're doing that. And that's all they do this entire book. But then there's the Black Cat issue where Harry and Peter fight Black Cat. And I've liked that one a lot. I have a fun time. Harry
I think that's the same issue, actually.
It might be the same issue, but it's,
yeah.
He fights Black Cat. I think it's issue 10. They like blast him off. Harry blasts him off the roof, which cripples him. And Peter's like, yo, we can't be doing that, man. And Harry's like, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep my loved ones safe. And you're like, oh, okay. And then issue 11, Harry's missing. He's not taking up any of his phone calls, and Peter has to fight Mr. Negative. He has a little tussle with Mr. Negative, which I enjoy a lot. And then issue 12 is the Christmas issue, which is all about the family. I think this is like needed family time, And so you get a lot of Mary Jane. You get Richard, who's hanging out with J. Jonah Jameson, which is fun. May's there. And then Mary Jane's family is there. So Aunt Anna, her mom, and her sister. Her and her sister have like problems, but it never comes up again, so it doesn't really matter. That's a reoccurring theme with Ultimate Spider-Man 2024.
There's so many dropped like plots throughout this book.
It's just like
you got MJ's family. So far, you got MJ's family. Harry's arc is kind of shoehorned, like ended.
Yeah, just
they kind of just
the final issue. It just doesn't really come to it. I mean, it comes to a conclusion, but it's not. I don't think it's
because his AI is his father, and it's kind of like implied throughout the book that he's influencing Harry more and more. And then at the end, they just fucking delete him. They just fucking put him in the recycling.
Hey, we'll get to that later. Okay.
I can't, man.
So the whole Christmas issue, The whole Christmas issue, Peter is not talking, and Gwen is desperately trying to call Mary Jane, but May is like playing video games on her phone, and so she's like canceling the calls or whatever. And then at the end of the issue, Mary Jane like takes Peter into her room because she gets Gwen on the phone, and Gwen is like, "Where the fuck is Harry? Like Harry's just gone, and he's been gone like all of December, or maybe like a week or something." But he, so I think he's been gone all of December because Peter can't get a hold of him in the November issue, which is like, so I think they get Harry in November and then torture him for an entire month, I guess. But Mary Jane's like, I don't know where Harry is. Let me ask Peter. And she goes to Peter, and Peter's just literally not speaking because he hasn't spoke this entire issue. And then he reveals that he's the symbiote, like, or the Pictotech suit version of Peter, I guess. And she's like, where is my husband? And he just says, Merry Christmas, and his eyes are black. And you're like, okay, so he's evil, right? You're like, oh, yeah, I got it. It's like, sure. He's tweaked. He's gone insane. But then, like, the last issue, I think, or the last page is, it shows Peter and Harry underground being tortured by Craven. But I remember reading that, and I was like, all right, great. So Craven has gotten the heroes. We're going to have to deal with that. And then also, the Pictotech suit has just fully taken over. He's just, like, going to take it. He's like, oh, okay. I'll be Peter now. That's what I thought was happening. And then issue 13 comes out. And this is a two-parter. It's issue 13 and 14. Because they take place, it's like the last day of January into the early morning of the first day of February. Which is the problem with this stupid fucking month thing. By the way, this is dumb as hell, bro. I don't know. You can't have a two-parter issue without being like, this is the last day of January, and also it's the first day of February. That's just too convoluted, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is a lot of work. The original Ultimate Spider-Man, and this book is very different, but like the original Ultimate Spider-Man was just like, yeah, this is a 7-parter. It's 2 days of Peter's life max.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're like, oh, all right, you're like, he fought like 7 villains, and like, get over it. And you're like, okay, I don't care. I'm not going to do the math because it's fun, But so in this, we get Richard using the Pictotech suit to be a superhero, which is very annoying.
Yeah, just cold opens with them.
We don't ever go back to see, how either Richard or May react to the fact that Peter is completely missing and their father has been taken over by a fucking suit. We never see their reactions to it, and we never see the moment that Richard decides, and the suit decides, that they're going to be a superhero, because the suit mentions that Peter gave him rules. If Peter ever goes missing, he was like, you have to protect the kids, you have to protect Mary Jane, and you cannot touch Mary Jane. That was like the 2 or the 3 things Peter said to the suit. And then the next time we see the suit, he's like letting Richard be a superhero. So I don't really know.
It's fully letting him swing around. I mean, he does still lay down some ground rules.
There's some rules, but I'm like, we don't like, what did?
But he's swinging around in broad daylight in a black costume in the middle.
Well, no, they're fighting crime. Like Richard mentions, they fight crime, but we don't get to see his first time fighting crime. But we do for Peter, because Peter fights Shocker, which we kind of brushed over. And then like, I'm like, this is the first time this book like truly annoyed me, because I was like, I didn't think Richard would be a superhero. Like, he didn't strike me as the kind of guy that would go out and be a superhero. So I would have liked to see what led him to that decision. And then, like I said, like what leads the suit to the decision? Did the suit come to Richard and be like, we should be a fucking superhero? Or did Richard go to the suit and be like, let's be superheroes? Like what happened there? I don't know. They never fucking talk about it. But so the suit, he looks awesome, by the way. I gotta say, this fucking, oh my god, such a cool looking suit. Okay, the Richard Venom suit is so cool looking. I'm mad because he doesn't fucking do anything cool. That's not true. He does one thing cool later. But yeah, I don't know. He fights Black Cat because Felicia has now sort of taken up her dad's little thing. Immediately he shows her his face because he's 100% attracted to her, and they're like kind of the same age. She's like a year older than him, so they kind of, you could tell there's going to be a thing here later. You're like, all right, they're going to kind of get together. But Felicia kind of talks about it like, Like, she doesn't really like Kingpin and stuff. So Richard is kind of like, he doesn't say who he is, but he's like, okay, maybe I can help her fight the bad guys, you know? Meanwhile, Craven is gonna play a little game with Harry and Peter. He's like, all right, we're gonna drop you into the Savage Land, which is under the Statue of Liberty. There's dinosaurs and shit, and I'm gonna hunt you.
Mole Man's kingdom.
Yeah, Mole Man's there. He's got his little moloids, and then Mysterio shows up because Mole Man told Mysterio, and so Mysterio's like, I just want to watch. And you're like, okay, like, you know, where the book's heating up, we're getting some crazy shit happening. And I really like these. This is a good part. It's fun. They're running through the Savage Land. They're like fighting Velociraptors. They're riding on Velociraptors. They fight Craven. Peter has a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, they're fully unmasked, by the way.
Yeah, they're unmasked. The whole
they know
Sinister
their
Six.
identities at this point.
Yeah, these three know their identities. Kingpin, Mr. Negative, and Black Cat do not because they didn't tell them. Craven doesn't want to tell anybody. Mole Man like helps them out. And he kind of hints that he like actually doesn't really fuck with any of this Kingpin shit. And so you're kind of like, oh, all right, Mole Man, good guy, I guess. I don't know, you know. And then Harry gets killed. Craven shoots Harry like through. Like he shoots Peter, and the bullet goes into Harry's head, and Peter almost kills Craven. And then Mysterio shows up, and it's like, you should leave. And Peter's like, fuck, okay. And then the last page is him, like, finally coming home to MJ and being like, we have to run away. Which I can talk about. But so this is, for me, this is the last time in the book. I still liked some issues that came after this, but this is the last time for me where I was like, this book is awesome, 10 out of 10. I love reading this book. Because everything after that, this issue, I was like, I could feel it slowly getting worse. I don't know if you guys...
No, I'm kind of similar, but things started getting pretty disconnected after this. And
yeah, no, because the way the next issue opens is just
we'll talk about
absolutely insane. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute. But Mole Man, like coat flipping, I guess, or turncoating. That's the correct term. Turncoating, like just helping Peter and Harry because he doesn't like Craven fucking up his mole lands.
Listen, I respect it. I'm like,
I mean, like, it's. I don't know. I just think it's a little lame in hindsight compared to what happens later. It's not that bad, but like, I don't know.
No, but also never had. No, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
We'll talk about that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. No, for me, the reason the book like just kind of drops off a cliff after this is because this is the last time where I was like this is the last time for me where I felt like there were stakes. Because like I was like, holy shit, okay, Richard's just a superhero now. He wants to help Black Cat. I'm like, okay, that's crazy. Harry is dead. I'm like, Harry's fucking gone. They got my guy. And I actually really like this version of Harry. I like his suit.
His shit clean off.
I like his character. I like that he is a good guy, but he's also like by any means necessary. But Peter's like kind of getting to him. But then his dad's getting to him. I'm like, so I really like Harry. I thought it was fucked up that he got killed. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, great. This either means Gwen is going to become Green Goblin and like beat the shit out of Peter, or the Norman AI is going to go fucking crazy. That's what I remember, Stewie. We talked about that a lot. Where it was like, oh, there's so much possibility for Ultimate Green Goblin now. None of those things happen. But so yeah, next issue they're just in Nevada. They're in like the desert.
I think it is Nevada. It's either Nevada or Utah.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
I
call it a desert. It's like a
mountain,
like desert, Grand Canyon kind of looking fucking place, dude. They're in like a trailer park.
Yeah, they're in a fucking trailer park. They're living off the grid. That's the whole thing.
Off the grid.
They have like cool neighbors, I guess.
The neighbor thing, they kept showing stuff. They kept showing stuff with the neighbor. There's like 2 or 3 conversations with that. I don't give a fuck, dude. Because their neighbor wasn't even like they were a Marvel character. It's just some random guy. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just like some conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. They like phone call Ben and Jonah, who are like doing stuff.
Yeah, they're still working on their
There's a
like
whole
fake
there's more stuff.
expose.
Yeah, they like pretend to be Ben Riley. That's like the fake name they make up, which is fun. And then Kingpin kills every Ben Riley on the planet, and they're like, get over it. Like Ben and Jonah are like, fuck you, Kingpin, we're not stopping. Which is cool, but like it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. And they fight Sandman. Peter and Richard fight Sandman. We skip Peter finding out that his son took the suit out. We don't get to see that. We don't get to see that fucking reaction.
They're just training him in like these canyons that they're surrounded by.
And then Richard has like a text conversation with Felicia where she like one of them calls the other one their boyfriend or girlfriend, and Richard's kind of like, what? It's a fun, like, I still like the dialogue is never bad in this book, so it's fun to read. Like, I don't think you'll have a bad time, especially binging it. I do think it's better in the binge. It's just there's a lot of cracks. But so then they fight Sandman, and it turns out Sandman's a good guy. It's just like this device that's making him tweak out, and so they're like, damn, dude, what are you gonna do now? And he goes, I'm gonna leave the book forever. And he walks into the desert and never to be seen again or talked about again.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? Gone. What was the point of that?
It's crazy because I remember this part specifically. Both when I was reading it the first time, when rereading it, when he talks about how he got his powers, it shows he's been like experimented on. He's like surrounded by AIM guys.
Yeah, so it's like he's in the, like, it establishes him in the universe, but he never comes back. They don't think about him. They don't talk about him. The issue didn't have any, like it's not like Richard and Peter teaming up had a big character moment of, like, Richard learned to do this thing. No, nothing is achieved here. And they're just in the middle of fucking the desert. And you're like, all right, that's fine, but they'll come back soon. And so the next issue is a Gwen issue, and it shows that Gwen is Mysterio, and like Stewie mentioned, she's on a council of Mysterios, which would be a cool idea, but they never fucking do anything. Are you noticing a pattern? I'm noticing a pattern. But she's on council with Robbie Robertson, who you see a couple times, because he's like he technically works at the Bugle, which Kingpin owns, but he's also like feeding Jonah and Ben information. So he's like a good guy, but he's a Mysterio. Wesley, Kingpin's #1 guy, is a Mysterio. There's an old man who I think is just Quentin Beck, like the actual Mysterio.
Yeah, I was about to say Quentin's there.
And then there's an Asian woman who doesn't really do anything until a later issue, so we'll get to her later. She's just kind of there. She doesn't really speak. But you learn it's like a council, and it's like passed down through the descendants. So like Gwen's dad was Mysterio, and Gwen's dad gets killed for like doing shit he shouldn't do by like the Makers Council. So Gwen's got a vendetta. She's out for it, you know. She meets Harry. Like you see like her meeting Harry, her marrying Harry, and like hiding this thing from Harry, even though she doesn't like hiding it. You also there's like one scene between her and Norman that's like kind of really suspicious. And I remember a lot of people were like, "Oh, holy shit, was Norman?" Like, maybe not a Mysterio, but was he, like, in on some stuff? Don't worry about it. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, forget about it. And then at the end of the issue, it turns out Harry doesn't actually die. It's a Mysterio illusion. And then Mysterio kills Kraven. It blows his brains out. Which is, like, funny because I'm like, oh, so there was just no reason for Peter to leave. Him and his family are just out of New York for literally no reason. Like, Gwen didn't have to do... I know she was hiding the Mysterio thing from Peter, but I'm like, okay, I guess. And then they're like, the end of the issue, they're like, okay, let's go to war. Because, like, Harry Osborn's dead, but the Green Goblin isn't. That's, like, kind of Harry's stance on it. So he's just, like, fully committed to the Goblin thing. But then the issue after that, Harry's like you kind of get a issue where they're like fighting them and stuff, and then Harry's like, we gotta call Peter back. And so
he goes to see Ben, and he's like, we need to get the troops back. We need to get Peter back, and then we could beat Kingpin once and for all.
Yeah, that's basically what it's. And at this point, they're also like trying to take out Mr. Negative because he's like the only other guy on the Sinister Six that's a problem. And so they call Peter back. And you see that Peter leaves Mary Jane and May, and he tries to leave Richard, but Richard, the suit can go invisible, so Richard sneaks onto the plane, and Peter goes back, and you find out like Mole Man is in his apartment, and Mole Man's like, "We should work together, Spider-Man." And Peter's like, "Get the fuck out of here." And then we don't see Mole Man until later, and he doesn't do anything. Because that's what happens in this book. But then Richard gets a phone call from Felicia. She's like, "I need your help. Like, I'm in danger. Come save me." And so he whips up, and it's a trap. And Kingpin's there with all of his bullseyes, and Felicia's dad is there in his wheelchair because he's actually crippled. And Richard's kind of, none of them knows. I always thought this was weird because Richard's a teenager, right? So he's like 15. Felicia knows that. She's seen him unmasked, but she just put it together that he's like Spider-Man's kid. They think he's just some guy who also has spider powers. And I always found, both on my original read when the issue came out and on my reread, I found that to be absurd. Because Kingpin is like, "Tell us who Spider-Man is and how you know him." And I'm like, it's a 15-year-old kid. Clearly it's Spider-Man's son. I'm like, is it so hard to put two and two together, my guy? Or his cousin or something. I don't know. Like, you think he's just a random fucking dude who also got... You think everyone's getting spider powers out here in New York? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't matter. Richard is like, "Why would you betray me?" And Felicia says, "It's in my nature. This will never come back up again." And she's just completely a good guy later. And so he goes Venom because the suit is like, "Close your eyes. I'll handle this." And the suit just starts fucking killing people. Like, it kills all these bullseyes. It fucks Kingpin up. And I'm pretty sure it kills Felicia's dad.
I don't think it killed him.
He never comes back up.
Strangles him and like suffocates him.
It like wraps its tendrils around his head, and then Felicia's like, "Stop!" And then you kind of get this like look at his face, and then he leaves. Like, that's kind of how the issue ends, or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. Here's the thing. I
could have sworn he was because I remember when I read it, he was in the meeting afterwards of Kingpin.
Really?
He was like. Yeah, he's like in a wheelchair. Okay. He's still in a wheelchair, but he has like a fucking like tube up his nose.
Yeah, I think he's got like an oxygen
so he's just
tank
more fucked up.
Yeah.
He's just more fucked up. Okay. I always just thought he died because I was just like, oh yeah, okay, so Venom.
I mean, he doesn't show up again after that.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
He's just fucking like.
The point is when this came out, I was fully back because again,
yeah, that shit was fire.
The art's great. The Venom suit is because it's more animalistic and it's kind of like the original Ultimate Venom, where he's like hunched over on 4 legs. He's all tendrily and shit. I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. Like, it kind of tells you that, like, if pushed far enough, our Peter could maybe be a murderer. You're like, oh shit. Like, or maybe this suit is so different from our Peter. There's multiple pathways you could take with this. What did they take? They ground Richard. And they're like,
they ground Richard in
the suit.
And fucking MJ and Peter have like a whole conversation about backing out. Like, what do you mean back out?
Well, they have the conversation where MJ's like, "I'm not happy with what's happening here," and Peter's like, "Should we stop?" And she's like, "No, I just want you to tell me the whole truth," which is really weird to me because like he's told her everything. There's nothing hidden, at least to I'm like, there's nothing the only thing she hasn't done is like help, which is fine. I like when MJ helps Spider-Man, but I'm like, he's told you fucking everything. There's nothing going on here. Richard also takes the shit out immediately and like apologizes to Felicia, and they fix their relationship, and it's like nothing happened. And I'm like, she betrayed you and said it was in her nature. Like, clearly she's a fucking bad guy. She's not. She was being coerced into it, which is fine. I'm just like, that doesn't.
The worst part about this issue is knowing that they only had 5 more issues after.
Right. And I think around the Venom one is when they announced. I mean, we knew it was ending at 24. Because we knew Hickman was only doing 24 issues, but I think around, I want to say a little bit after the Venom one is when they had started to, like, there was no news about a new writer coming. And so, like you just said, so it was kind of like, is it really going to end in 5 months? It was like, are we really done? Because then you get this whole issue where, like, nothing, so again, Richard talks to Felicia, Peter and MJ talk. They do get mad at Richard for using the suit again. They're all living in I think it's Mary Jane's mom's house.
Yeah.
To like protect everybody. So like everybody presumably knows everything now. May has done literally nothing. I don't think she speaks in like the last fucking 10 issues, it feels like. She just doesn't exist as far as the book is concerned.
She'll talk for like a few panels and then she'll get ferried off screen by someone, or they'll just cut to another conversation.
Yeah. Granted, I know she's like 4, so I'm like, I don't really expect her to do a lot. It's just kind of weird because she's super important in those first 6 issues, and then is like, all right, get out of here. It's all Richard time now. I'm like, okay.
They don't even do that much with Richard anyway.
No.
Or they cut away most of the important shit.
We don't. We miss all the important shit. Because then the issue after this is a. I think this is. This is the okay. Things are becoming blurry, but I think we get a Gwen in like a Harry issue where they like.
No, it's they have dinner together, and this is when MJ punches the shit out of Gwen because she says some really
because she's evil. She's fucking evil.
She says some really like weird shit to MJ while they're in the restroom.
Yeah, punches her. Harry and Peter are fine, like nothing happened. You know, it's like nothing bad has gone down. They're chillers. And then after that, I think is the kind of the Gwen and Harry, like, because I think they bomb a bunch of Mr. Negative things. So
I think that might have been an issue beforehand.
Either way, man, we get a Mr. Negative issue. Okay, this is what I remember having. We get a Mr. Negative issue, which I actually really like. I think it makes him an entertaining villain, but he hates Kingpin. Him and his sister ran basically the other crime organization or whatever, the other one, not the Kingpin's organization. They were fighting against Kingpin, and Kingpin beat the shit out of him and was like, "You work for me now." And then Mr. Negative's sister was like, "You're a bitch because you lost to Kingpin. Get the fuck out of here." And so he's kind of on his own now, and he's real pissed off about it. And he kidnaps Wesley, and he's torturing Wesley, and he finds out about A, the Mysterios, and B, Peter, because Gwen knows. And so he has Wesley suicide bomb the Mysterio Council. The woman we mentioned earlier was his sister. They reveal that in this issue, which is like, okay, she hasn't spoken, so all right, I get. None of the other Mysterios mean anything other than Gwen and Wesley because he kills himself, and all of them, I guess. And then he sends a bunch of like Mr. Negative dudes after Peter, and you get this like one panel of Peter and then Richard as Venom like fighting the Mr. Negative guys. It's a single panel of them fighting them.
He also sends them after Bowman too, and Catwoman, I think.
Yeah, he sends him after Moman and Catwoman.
He basically betrays everyone in this issue. He goes full tilt and tries to start his own.
The Synergy is terrible in this. So that happens, and you're thinking like in the next one, you're like, oh, holy shit! Like Peter's life has been rocked. Like they've sent dudes to their house. Like that's crazy. That's not good. Venom had to Richard had to Venom out again, and so you're like, maybe he's going crazy. Like what's going on with the suit? And then you find out they're living in a Mole Man house. They're like underground.
Next issue, 3 months later, it opens with a Spider-Man picking up a delivery, a food delivery.
It's Chinese.
He gets there. He gets there, and lo and behold, it's fucking Dr. Octopus.
By the way, the whole book he's been sinister because he's been really chill, but nobody's been nice to him, and so the whole book you're like, dude, he's gonna.
They do Superior Spider-Man. Not only do they do Superior Spider-Man, he makes his own costume with the Dr. Octopus Spider-Man legs.
And a white spider, which I think is maybe a reference to the video game, because Doc Ock in that game makes the suit with the white spider on it. So I'm like, is that? I don't know. The suit looks cool, but he's
also wearing his goggles under the mask. Like, what the fuck?
He's a tweaker, and they're like, oh, you're like, oh, okay. So they're going to explain why he's Spider-Man. I lied. I'm not even kidding. At this point in the book, they're never going to fucking talk about why he became Spider-Man. That he just became Spider-Man to become Spider-Man. Harry's not having a great time, though. I'll say.
Yeah, after this whole little delivery scene, just cuts back to Peter and Harry, and they're just fighting. I think they're fighting
Tombstone. Well, they're fighting Bullseyes, but then they go fight a bunch of. So they fight Tombstone, Shocker, Vermin, and I feel like maybe one other guy. It looked like a jackal kind of guy. It was like Vermin and then like a jackal looking villain. And so they fight all these guys in one page. It's a beautiful page. The art's great. I mean, the whole book, the art is fantastic. But they fight all these cool supervillains, and we don't get to see any of it. And then Peter's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go head back to the mole man house. Are you coming?" And Harry's like, "My wife is dead. I'm gonna stand on this rooftop and brood." And you're kind of like, "Oh, okay." And then he has a little conversation with his dad, where his dad is like, "Fuck that Peter Parker. You need to kill these people, son." And then Gwen shows up. And she's got like 5 heads and 7 arms, and she talks like 7 times because she's a combination of all the Mysterio people. And you're like, oh, that's bad. You know, you're like, that's not good.
Also, Otto gives Richard a fucking MacGuffin.
Yeah. So they're planning their like big last hurrah, and basically, Otto has a like. A VPN. Listen, Otto's activating a VPN so Jonah and Ben can release 3 recorded segments that explain everything about Kingpin and the Maker, which means
the Kingpin files.
Essentially, it is the Kingpin files, but it means nothing. And then he gives Richard a thing where he's like, you have to go. The Kingpin has a like thing under his penthouse that is connected to the Maker. And if you plug this USB MacGuffin into it, it'll erase every file about you and your family and any footage of you. So you could go back to living your lives. And he's like, Richard, you have to do it because you can go invisible. So Richard goes to do it, and he finds Black Cat there. And Black Cat's like, I tracked Mr. Negative here. I'm going to kill him. And Richard's like, hey, I actually got to do this thing, and can we do that instead? And she's like, okay, sure. And so they do that, and then Peter is like, him and MJ find out that Richard is gone, and so they yell at Otto, and they're like, and MJ is like, you have to fix this, Otto. And he's like, I actually can't leave. I have to activate the VPN for the old guys. And so then Peter has to go, and he's like, I gotta go fight Kingpin, I guess, because he doesn't know where. He knows he's kind of at Kingpin's place, but he doesn't really know what's going on. At the same time, Mole Man shows up just to chill. He like literally brings beers. He's like legitimately he shows up just to vibe.
Say a quick side note. Otto has not changed out the Spider-Man costume. He's just been wearing.
He's just wearing the Spider-Man costume. What's the point?
He's just wearing it. Oh, it has a lab coat over.
There's literally just. I understand like. No, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why he wouldn't just make the arms, or why he wouldn't be.
He doesn't even use the arms in like half the panels he's in.
None of this makes any sense to me. This is the most baffling decision out of the entire book to me, because I'm just like, why? He doesn't do everything he does in the final issue. He could have done as a guy. He did not need to be Spider-Man. Either way, he activates the VPN. So most of what we're about to describe next is kind of narrated by Ben's like announcement, which is a well-written thing about how you have to rise up and fight fascism and blah, 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 whatever. It's everything that Ben is saying is shit you would know if you just read Ultimates. This is what I'm saying. Like, if you just go read Ultimates, it's the same shit, but written a little more entertaining, and it's with superheroes doing it instead of an old guy, old yaoi guys. They should kiss, by the way. They never kissed. They should have kissed. They fully should have. All I'm saying is, moving on. We get. Now, this is issue 23 we're on. So issue 23 and 24 were 40-page. Yeah, they say that they were 40-page two-parters because they time skipped to December. I think it was actually 22, 23, and 24, but I could be wrong. But 23 and 24 are like uber long. And I actually really like the ending of 23 because the first half of it, the little half of it, is Richard and Felicia are breaking in. They're going to put in this MacGuffin, and they got to get through this like laser field, and so they're doing crazy flips and shit. And they activate it, and so the room is like also kind of made of Pictotech, and so it starts to like fight back, and so that's the cliffhanger there. Peter. Well, I should just say first, Mr. Negative shows up at Kingpin's place, and he's like, it's fucking time to scrap, you fat man. And they're about to fight each other, and then that's when Peter crashes in, and he says some funny shit. I like his dialogue or whatever. He's like, am I interrupting, or some fucking stupid bullshit. And so Mr. Negative and Kingpin are like, truce? Let's beat the shit out of Spider-Man real fast. And so they fight Spider-Man, and the alarms start blaring, and you see on this like TV screen that Kingpin is now aware that Richard is breaking in. And so basically Mr. Negative is like, all right, Kingpin, I'm going to go kill those guys if you want to like finish Spider-Man off. And so Kingpin's like, oh, absolutely. And he like beats the shit out of Spider-Man. And right before Mr. Negative leaves, Peter stands back up and his suit's, it's like basically aura farming, but he's like, we can keep going, And that's how the issue ends. And then they delayed issue 24 for 2 months. It was supposed to come out in January, like the beginning of January, and it comes out the end of February.
Also, the only other thing you missed in issue 23 is Harry and
oh yeah, you're right.
Gwen Mysterio break in as well, and they meet Captain Britain.
Yeah,
like the bullseye.
Yeah.
They're about to fight the bullseyes, and the bullseyes stand down, and they just take up the Captain Britain. Who
completely forgot about that, by the way.
I don't even know what he said. I think he tries to strike a deal with Mysterio. And then Peter tries to call Harry for help because he's getting his ass kicked by Kingpin, and Harry's like, actually, I'm sorry, Peter. I gotta go hang with my wife.
Well, and his dad is like, don't answer the call, son. Fuck that guy. And so Harry like hangs up on him, but he feels bad about it. You're right. But then so issue 24 finally comes out, and I guess we'll go plot by plot. So the Gwen and Mysterio thing is so fucking stupid. Immediately, like you said, Captain Britain is like, well, he's French. I was about to do a British accent to imitate him, and then my brain auto-corrected and was like, actually, he's French in this universe, which is, I kind of love that. But he like offers them a deal. He's like, Kingpin sucks. That's basically what he's like. I don't like that Kingpin guy anymore. I like you, Mysterio. How about you rule New York for me? And Gwen takes the deal because she's like, well, if I'm ruling New York, it's like I'm like one step closer to being able to stop the Maker, and I'm better or something. She's like, I could rule it better than Kingpin or whatever. Harry feels bad about this. Harry doesn't like that they did this. He was here to like blow Captain Britain up or something. I don't fucking know. What the fuck else happens? So Richard Venom's out, and then the room copies him and makes an anti-Venom, and they fight.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it makes
this
like
is
a
stupid.
dozen anti-Venoms because it's fucking like you said, it's like Picotech, so it's like self-replicating. They just keeps making more. And Kingpin pulls up like a big hologram screen to show Peter and like mess with him while they're fighting. And then Peter pulls out the MacGuffin, and he like, I think he tosses it in the corner of the room or something.
Well, Peter
while, like distracting Kingpin.
Well, Peter. No, I don't even think he distracts Kingpin. Peter like, because Mr. Negative is like mind controlling him to not fight back. So Peter's just getting his ass beat, and so then he webs Mr. Negative, and he goes, I'm not fighting back, I'm just moving you, and he like moves him in front of Kingpin's blow, and so Mr. Negative gets fucking knocked out because Kingpin is massive. And so then Peter can fight Kingpin. He's fighting him, and he's kind of losing, but he has a thing that Otto made that turns off Kingpin. It's like a USB, it's like an EpiPen, and it turns off Kingpin's cybernetic enhancements. So he stabs Kingpin with that, and then he beats the shit out of Kingpin. And while he's doing that, he's like watching on that hologram thing you were talking about. So he's like watching that Richard and Felicia are getting fucking cooked. They're about to fucking die. And so he like swings down in there, and you see that like Richard is like walking out of the suit, and the suit is like, Richard, if you get out of me, you'll fucking die. I can't protect you. And he like goes to put the USB in, and then Peter runs in. He's like, no, you think like, oh shit, Richard's dead. Richard and Felicia are just kissing each other, and the suit's completely fine.
Like fairy tale kissing each other, and the like anti-Venom Picotech just like fucking dropping off
dead
of them
on the floor, and then the Peter AI Venom completely chill. Nothing happened to him. So fine.
Yeah, he like shows up to like quip with Peter next to him.
Yeah, it's like, dude, can you believe what we're looking at, man? And I'm like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Zero consequences for their actions, which is like the antithesis to a good Spider-Man story.
Dude, I was really thinking Richard was gonna die there.
So I was like,
I should have known better. I should have known better.
For a moment, my two theories for this book, and Stewie, I remember me and Stewie talked about this when it like first started coming out. But my two theories were that like either Peter dies, and Richard learns the lesson of great power comes great responsibility, or one of Peter's family members dies, and then Peter truly learns it, because Peter kind of knows it, but that's not really what this book is about. This book isn't about great power. So I was like waiting for Peter or Richard to have to learn that lesson. And I thought for a minute that's what was about to happen here. However, fun Marvel fact, because they delayed this book till February, you know, a month and a half after it was supposed to come out, if you go and read Ultimate Endgame, which takes place right after this book, you will know that both Peter and Richard are completely fine, and so is the suit. So, also, for some reason in Ultimate Endgame, they don't take Richard with them, even though this suit is buns overpowered, bro. This shit is crazy, man. The Maker could not fight the pick tech suit, dude. There's just no way. It would whatever. So then the book's over, and
we haven't talked about the ending.
I'm getting to it. Let me yell more, okay? Let me freak out more.
Freak out.
Okay, bro. We don't own that. So what the fuck am I saying? You have the scene with Harry where Harry is like, he like talks to Peter and he's like, he like turns his dad's AI off basically, and he's like, I kind of fucked up. We shouldn't let Gwen rule because she's kind of a crazy person. And Peter's like, I got you, man.
He talks to Gwen before that, and he's like trying to like connect with his like ghost dead wife. And as soon as he goes like, I think he's like bringing up the relationship, she just turns into Mysterio again, and just starts tweaking out.
She's like we're all one in the same. Like we're all 5 people. It's over. And so Harry goes to Peter and he's like, you're right, Peter. We need to be good superheroes. Fuck my dad. It's time to fight back and help this city. So they kind of tease that eventually, like later in life, they'll go fight Mysterio or something. I don't know. But then we get. I was gonna say we get a little flashback, which I actually really like. I wish we had gotten this earlier in the book, but it's a flashback to when they're Peter and MJ. I think they're like 18, maybe. Like they're supposed to be really young.
Yeah. Like just graduated high school, getting into college sort of deal.
Yeah, and Peter got Mary Jane pregnant, so obviously that becomes Richard.
Teen mom.
But I really like this because, and I think I talked about this with you, Stewie. Might have been you, Nolan. But for me, I wish I had seen this earlier in the book, because for me, this was kind of like a Spider-Man. But like Peter, as a child, he doesn't get bit by the spider. He doesn't kill Uncle Ben, so there's no moment for him to like step up. But this is that moment in this version of Peter's, like, because he's a different Peter, so it's like this is his moment to be like, because Mary Jane's like, if you don't want to be in, she's like, I'm going to have this kid, but if you don't want anything to do with this kid, I don't blame you. You could go live your life. You can go to college, be a scientist. And he's like, no, whoa. I love you. We're going to do this, and it's his moment of great power comes great responsibility. And it kind of coincides with the ending of the whole book, where Peter and MJ are talking, and Peter and MJ are talking, and he's like, you know what? I realized, like, I thought I was missing something, and he's like, and technically, I was missing the superheroes and the superpowers and blah blah blah, but he's like, I actually had everything that I ever truly needed from the beginning, which is like, and you just said, like, the whole message of this book is like family and knowing what you got, and blah blah blah, whatever. Okay, I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm like, there's so much we skipped over, and character arcs. Like Peter, I was reading an interview with Jonathan Hickman where he says Peter purposely doesn't have a character arc. He is supposed to change the people around him, and I think that's a great idea. But like, the people around him start having character arcs, and then those arcs just end because there's no more fucking book, and so it's like, oh man.
It got shafted.
Also, Kingpin and Mr. Negative just kill each other at the end.
Well, Mr. Negative shows up and he's like, oh, you're no longer biologically enhanced, Kingpin? Kill yourself. And Kingpin goes to jump off the building and he grabs Mr. Negative. He goes, not like this! And then they fall to their deaths. And I'm like, that's... that... Funny enough, that's how the last Ultimate Kingpin died. Both of them die like that. Such a waste of Kingpin. At least, like, if you kill Mr. Negative, if you kill Kingpin, and then it's like Mysterio and Mr. Negative gang war. Also, Peter and Harry are there. I'm like, that's an interesting second half to the book. That's
because before Mr. Negative tells him to just kill himself, Kingpin's like, I haven't been hungry in this long. I finally have a challenge to rail
Yeah,
against.
he's like,
And
oh,
then,
you're like,
and then
oh,
Mr. Negative
okay.
just goes, kill
yourself now. He hits him with the low tier god. Okay. And then the thing is, I've been saying this the whole time. At the end of the day, this is a Marvel fumble because I truly think that Jonathan Hickman was writing this book thinking people were gonna do more stuff with these characters. Now, he hasn't explicitly said that, but he did say in an interview I watched that he was shocked Marvel was canceling all of the Ultimate books. And so I'm like, okay, that's all I need to hear. Is he like set all this shit up and he was like, here you go. Do whatever you want with these characters. And Marvel canceled the Ultimate Universe. Or I should say ended, because none of the books got canceled. They at least all get to end, technically, even if the endings are really bad and feel very rushed. So far, I think Ultimates hasn't ended, but I think that might end fine because that one's still actually going pretty strong.
Only one. Yeah.
And X-Men is a real shame because I do think Ultimate X-Men is a masterpiece. Every issue of that book is perfect. But Peach Momoko, the writer and artist, has talked about how she does not want to end the book, and you can tell reading the last issue that it's technically an ending, but it's one of those endings where you're like, yeah, so we're supposed to get another season of this, right? Like, there's supposed to be another season, and it's like, no.
I'm the only one who hasn't read that X-Men because I gassed myself out reading the other books.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
AKA Black Panther and X-Men. Or not X-Men, Wolverine.
Okay.
The worst ones?
Mid and terrible, as you could say.
Yeah, that is... No, I think you would really like X-Men. It's very good, and I'm interested to see because Marvel announced this the other day, but I just saw they delayed it earlier today. So Endgame, the ending of Ultimate Endgame got delayed until I think it's June or July, and then Marvel announced a book called Ultimate Finale, which will include I think it's 5 to 10 pages for each of the books coming out, and so it's like an ending to each of the books, and so they delayed Ultimate Finale to come out after the final issue of Endgame now. And so I think probably when Endgame ends, we'll probably do a Cantos on that to more so talk about the rest of the universe. But I'm very interested to see what Ultimate Finale is in terms of Spider-Man, because like there's no way in 10 pages you can wrap up Mysterio or any of that. I'm like, there's no other plot line, but like there's nothing that can happen. I don't know, man. It's just a shame. It's a shame, you know?
Yeah, it really is. Because, I mean, like, it's just poor playing on their part. It's crazy because we mentioned this a few days ago, Xander, when me and you were talking about it. They had the head start. Like, between Absolute and Ultimate, they had the head start, and Absolute is kicking their ass. Like, even if you disconnect all the other books and just have Batman, they're still kicking their ass.
I love Batman. I think there's a future video coming out that we'll talk about that. But Batman for me is a character where he's hit or miss. I don't know if you guys are like that, but like Batman for me is either really fucking good or I do not give a fuck about what I'm reading or watching. And I don't really know why that's the case, but that's just how it is. And Spider-Man for me is my favorite character of all time. And so I etched him onto my skin, which is, a decision some would say. And so for me to say what I'm about to say is crazy, is what I'm trying to say. But I care so much more about every glup shitto in Absolute Batman than I do any of the characters in Ultimate Spider-Man. Two-Face, Penguin, and Riddler are fascinating to me in Absolute Batman. I like and Killer Croc. I forgot to even mention the best one. Every time they're on screen, including the most recent issue 17, which is the start of the Poison Ivy thing. Oh, dude, I'm like, I feel so bad for Bruce. I'm so interested in where their relationship is gonna go. and how they're gonna maybe develop into villains, but also maybe not develop into like who knows. It's the Harry Osborn dynamic from Ultimate Spider-Man, but done so much fucking better, and it's crazy. I also Absolute Bruce is awesome. I love Absolute Bruce. Yeah. And like you said, Stewie, even just comparing Spider-Man and Batman, it's just like it's the Absolute books are dog walking the Ultimate books.
So crazy to me.
And they're not ending at issue 24. They get to go past that, except Manhunter, which ends at 12, but that's planned, and I'm okay with it. I can see maybe how that book's going to end, so I'm like, that's fine.
And we know the character is going to be...
Yeah, they talked about how he'll come back and be important, which will be, I think, a lot of fun. But like Wonder Woman, Lantern, Flash, and Batman are seemingly just going to keep going until the writers are fully finished whatever. Like I know Scott Snyder, the writer of Batman, talked about how he has at least 30 to 40 issues planned, but he said it'll probably go longer than that. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. Which isn't to say you can't end, like 24 issues is a lot of issues. That's a good number of issues, but when you skip every month and you skip all of the character development, it's like not a good number of issues all of a sudden. And we're left with like a book that I think in the end is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say it's like genuinely bad.
Yeah.
But like once you get past like the 16 issue point, you just start noticing that like, oh, there's just a lot of missed opportunity in this book.
Mm-hmm. Also, comparing it to the original is like,
oh my God,
bad. Dude. It really hurts to be like,
take me back where you could get more than 20 issues.
Dude, 130 issues plus all of those characters show up in the Miles, like Aunt May, MJ, Gwen, Jessica Drew, like all of them are in the Miles book, so it's like a continuation. Like, take me back, man. Take me back to those days. But yeah, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I would give this book a 7. Where I'm like you said, Stewie, like it's never bad. Even the issues we have problems with, I'm still like they're still readable. The art is still really good. So I'm like this to me, this is the definition of a 7 out of 10. Where you're gonna have a good time reading it, especially binge reading it. Month to month is a pain in the ass.
It's agonizing.
But binge reading it was fine. There are some fun twists. The art's great. The designs are good. The dialogue is good. I got nothing else to say.
I think we said all we can say, really.
Marvel. Actually, I have one thing to say. Marvel, please continue this book, man. Make more, you fucking buffoons. You're throwing money in the fucking dumpster, dude.
Just rewind the clock, you know.
Just lie.
Scrap, you know.
Just say we lied and you're actually making more. It's that easy. It's that easy, man. Don't leave me with Amazing Spider-Man where Peter and Mary Jane aren't married and he sold his fucking soul to the devil. Don't leave me with that. Sorry. I had to. It's been building in my soul for a long time.
You still read that?
No, I don't read it anymore. I gave up. I gave up on the last one. I'm done.
We're not talking about Amazing Spider-Man.
Also, Mary Jane is Venom. What are we doing? Dude, I'm sorry. Eddie Brock is fucking Carnage. What's happening? What is happening?
There is no Amazing Spider-Man past issue. Fucking, I don't know. Pick your number. Anything before like 2010, pick your number.
It stops, and the J. Michael Straczynski run into the 2000s. That's when it stops. Okay, pre-2006, that book ends and is over. I don't know. Go read the Absolute books. Have a good night, and we'll be back with some other Cantos sometime. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Nolan, you have to say goodbye, bro. What are you doing?
Oh, goodbye. See ya. Bye.